This will be an unboxing of the Scythe Mugen 5 ARGB edition CPU cooler. And this is a fairly new model from Scythe, which they just basically revamped the looks of their Mugen 5 cooler with some ARGB LEDs on their fans and also a slick black top cover, as you can see on the box here. But first, let's just take a look at the box first, then we can head inside and see what it has inside the package. Well, on the back here, you can see the specifications of the cooler. And well, the fan is 1500 RPM and it's a 120mm based cooler, so that's about the two most important things. And you can also see the pin layout for the ARGB connector, so you can't just plug it into any RGB controller. It needs to be an ARGB header, which is 5 volts, otherwise you might burn out the LEDs. It also supports all the modern sockets like the LGA 1200 and also AM4, obviously, because well, this is supposed to be a new cooler and it'll just basically support any CPU you want to use with this except for Threadripper. Inside the box you can see an accessory box, and underneath it is also the fan. While the cooler itself is on the bottom, wrapped by this foam that's to protect it during shipping, and the cooler itself here you can see is a simple single tower affair. Well, the fans themselves seem pretty interesting since it seems like they're using the Scythe Kaze Flex fans, and this time with RGB LEDs on the hub with some translucent fan blades. And they also sell these separately. What's interesting with these fans is that, as you can see, the fan blades spin the opposite way to most PC fans. So it spins on clockwise rotation instead of counterclockwise, which is quite an interesting choice. And for the cables themselves, you can see there's the RGB connector, and also this dead end connector looking thing, which I thought I could open, but apparently there's nothing on it. There's just an RGB connector and also a 4-pin PWM power connector. For the heatsink itself, it's also a pretty simple design. It's a 6 heat pipe based CPU single tower heatsink, and it has a pretty fairly normal heatsink fin layout. There's no fancy cut fins or groove fins or anything of that like. It's just a simple big heatsink with 6 heat pipes, which should work pretty well considering it has a lot of heat pipes which are spread pretty evenly throughout the heatsink. On top you could also see it has a black cover, so it looks pretty nice. Now for the accessories, you can see in this box there's just a bunch of things, as you can see here. But another interesting thing is that they also included a screwdriver, which is also a magnetic screwdriver, unlike the Noctua screwdriver that they include, which is not magnetic. So that's one aspect they're better than Noctua. And they also include a user manual, which is pretty detailed and I could understand it pretty well. So I think it's a pretty good manual. And well, they also include the mounting hardware here, as you can see inside this plastic baggie. And basically it includes a thermal paste and also the metal backplate that you can use for the cooler. So on AMD you can use the stock backplate, but on Intel you have to use this backplate. And it also includes the Sky Thermal compound. Not sure what type it is, but I think it should be pretty decent. The backplate itself is quite sturdy. It's a solid piece of metal, so I don't see any problems with that. Now for the screws, it also includes lots of spacers and long and short screws and thumb screws for installation of the CPU cooler on the socket. And you also have the brackets that you have to install onto the cooler depending on which socket you're using, AMD or Intel. Then this bracket goes onto the screws and the backplate on the motherboard. Now you also get these fan clips, and you also get 2 sets so that you can install a push-pull fan setup right out of the box if you have an extra fan. But that's pretty nice that they include an extra one. Well, for now it seems like I'll just install the fan and show you guys how it looks like, and yeah, here you go. Basically the fan just pops in on the front of the heatsink like that. There's like a groove cutout on the heatsink, so it'll automatically center onto the heatsink. Then you can just use the clips onto the fan, then just clip it onto the heatsink. It's a pretty standard heatsink fan clip design. There's no fancy plastic clips like some of the Cooler Master fans or things like that. But this works and I don't see a problem with it. And well, with the fan installed, with the black top as well, and I bet with the RGB actually turned on, I think it should look pretty nice, as this is quite a simple single tower cooler that has pretty nice aesthetic and has lots of heat pipes, so I think it should perform pretty well as well. I'll see about that in my review though, but yeah, that's about it for this unboxing. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, please leave a like and please click subscribe to see more of my future videos, such as a review of the CPU cooler. Thanks for watching.